Today we just got a new trailer for the multiplayer beta, and I mean, that stuff is cool and all. Trust me, I love multiplayer and I love playing every single year, but for me, multiplayer is always multiplayer. As much as I love it, it's always multiplayer, so I'm not really going to be focusing on that. And again, I love multiplayer, but again, it's multiplayer. But regardless, what we're going to be focusing on in this video is a little thing we got at the end of that trailer, and of course, it was a teaser for the new BlackOut mode, and what we actually see in here is some gameplay, sort of. I mean, it's not pure gameplay, but you can kind of see some gameplay, then you see some cinematic scenes and all that cool stuff. So there's a lot of different things I want to show you guys in this video and talk about, because there's one thing that a lot of people have not been able to see, and that's all the still frames that popped up on screen for a couple seconds. These just stay on screen for like a couple frames, so I will be showing them to you guys because I know they're really hard to get your hands on, and I got my hands on them. I do want to share with you guys, but for now, let's just see what we saw, and I guess what everybody really saw. And right here at the start, we see our characters, or I guess not our characters. You see Diego right there, and you see, I think, Woods, and I can't tell who the third person is. There's also another fourth person on the left, don't know who he is. So we obviously already knew this. We knew you're going to be able to play as a bunch of different character models. Now, my only hope for this, and I've been saying this ever since we found out about this, is that they must have their quotes, especially Richtofen. I mean, the only reason I'm paying for a Richtofen skin is if he has some quotes. I don't care if they're reused from old maps. I want some Richtofen quotes. But anyways, of course, we do see a helicopter right here, so we're seeing some actual gameplay of how the helicopters are going to look, which, I mean, it's right there, and it's flying around, which seems contrary to a leak that happened a couple of weeks ago, but regardless, we do see the helicopter there and all that good stuff. Another thing to take note of is that it looks like the characters are doing some weird animations. I mean, you don't normally see animations like this when you're just playing the game, so I'm kind of confused why these animations are playing out, and this is why it led me to believe that some of these scenes are cinematic, and that's the only reason I say that. But anyways, the main thing about this scene is that you could actually see that that's Turbine in the background, and I know a lot of people already called out Turbine inside the image that we got forever ago about BlackOut, so it does look like that's going to be the case, and it looks like this is going to be just this weird deserty looking place, so it kind of fits exactly what Turbine was, and it looks like this is just going to be kind of the outskirts of the Turbine map, and I just love seeing that because these are areas of the maps that we've seen before, but we couldn't access because obviously they were outside of the map, and I just love seeing that they're actually going to use that, and we're actually going to be able to see all that stuff. Now, another scene right here, we see a couple characters on the road, and a notable one to see is that you see Bruno, Scarlet, and Richtofen, and you also see AVTs, or just four-wheelers, let's just call them that, because I don't know the proper, like, the general name for these things, so you do see them running on that stuff, and then, of course, you see them fighting with a plane or a helicopter right there, and it does look like you could shoot from the helicopter. There's no minigun on that, so it's not going to be like a score streak like a ton of people thought for who knows what reason, so that is something that I find quite pleasing to see. But then you see that Bruno straight up kills Diego, which is something I find quite funny because in the Zombies game, obviously they're teammates, so you know, it's kind of cool, but also it's pretty bloody, so that's another thing to keep note of. But of course, then you just see them fighting out and all that good stuff. Now, there's not much else to see here except the characters. I mean, well, I guess the people shooting down the helicopter, but well, the main draw of this video, and the reason I'm making this, is for all these still frames, because we got a lot of these throughout the trailer, and I want to share them with you guys because, again, these are pretty difficult to obtain if you don't have the proper software. So I'm going to have the first one that popped up on screen right now, and as you guys can see, it looks like it's on some sort of skyscraper, and personally, I can't recognize this for being for something that we've seen in the past, but what it does look similar to is what we saw inside the BlackOut reveal, or announced trailer thing that we got. So I think that this is something completely new that we've never seen before besides inside the trailer, just this really large skyscraper that you're going to be able to go in. Now, a couple of people were saying it's like Vertigo or something like that, but I don't think so. I mean, it could have something to do with Vertigo, but to me, it just looks like something completely new and that we haven't seen before, except again for inside the trailer that we got forever ago for BlackOut. But this is some actual images of it, of how it's going to look in game, so that's something that I mean, it's just cool to see. But regardless, we will move on to the next scene, and we can actually see this image right here, and just tell me what map that is. What is that? That's Raid. Yep, I know a lot of people were already expecting Raid because of the image and all that good stuff, but it's just nice to see that's confirmed. It's just So cool to see that raids right there. Future tell him here because I missed a image, a still frame image, but of course I was just like editing the video and I saw I had an extra image. I'm all like, what the heck, why didn't I talk about this? But anyways, let me actually show you the image on screen right now. So as you guys can actually see, this actually shows that the characters are skydiving, so it does look like the characters are going to be diving into the map like all the other battle royales, or maybe it's actually not the case, or maybe they're just jumping off a skyscraper or something like that and they could use it all over again. I mean, I'd love to see that also, so I mean, I'm all for that, but regardless, it does look like skydiving, of course, kind of suggesting that we're going to be jumping into the map like all the other battle royale games. It looks like we're not using parachutes though, we're going to be using those flying squirrel things, I don't know, but regardless, for where he's landing, I can't tell where this is. I think it's in a new original place, and of course people were saying that it kind of looked like Yemen, an area in Yemen, but besides that I don't see any other way that you could say this looks like another map. But I personally think that this is an entirely new area that we've never seen before, and I really like the look of it. I mean, it just looks really cool with all the tall buildings on the side, and you know, if you're probably going to be able to go in there, I mean, I'd absolutely love it. So I mean, it just looks really cool. But anyways, that's about it for this one. I'm going to let my past self take over again and continue talking about the other screenshots. But then, of course, the next still frame we actually saw a couple things, and the first thing to note is that we see some of the boat vehicle things, because we never really saw these, even in the original trailer that really didn't show any gameplay like type of deal things, but this is kind of showing us for the first time how the boats are going to work in there. It looks like it's just going to be boats like this. It's not going to be like huge boats or anything like that, and I'm quite pleased with this. It's kind of how I hoped it would be. But what the main draw of all of this is if you look in the distance, what map is that? Of course, it's Cargo. Yep, Cargo's there. Again, a map that people expected to see because of certain things, but of course, it's just cool to see that is the case. Now, this next scene is probably one of the coolest ones. I mean, there's so many cool things, like at the end, dude, this last still frame that we're going to talk about is so cool, but regardless, let's just stick to this one. So we do see Nikolai right here with a couple other characters in this tunnel, and what's surprising, if you could play these frames next to each other, the couple frames that happen, it actually progresses just up through to the ground level, because this is obviously underground, and what you actually see is over that is Nuketown, and right here we have a destroyed Nuketown, just as some leaks predicted. So there are some things that connect with the leak, some things that don't seem to, but regardless, it does look like Nuketown is going to be right here, and it looks just beautiful. It kind of looks like they said the destroyed Nuketown and all that stuff, but it's so cool. I'd love to see this as a center of the map, because I mean, Nuketown is just so iconic to the Black Ops series, so I mean, it just has to be the center of the map. Now, at first I thought that was the coolest scene, but oh my gosh, the best clip we got is on screen right now, and there is just so many different reasons why I love what I'm seeing right here. Now, first off, what map is that? Of course, it's Verrucht. So Verrucht is going to be in BlackOut. Puts a smile on my face because we did not know that was going to be the case. But what do we see a little to the left? Those are zombies, guys. So it looks like there's actually going to be zombies in BlackOut, and I am just so happy because a lot of people wanted this, but I was just downing it the entire time. I thought there's no way they're going to do that. They're not going to put zombies in BlackOut. I just didn't think that, whether it be the engine or something else, I just didn't know what it was going to be, but I didn't think it was going to happen. But it looks like I'm incorrect, and I'm just so happy that's the case. Like, oh my gosh, zombies in BlackOut. That's what actually got me excited for this. More than anything, when I saw the zombies in this, I was just like, yes, thank you, please give me some more. But oh my gosh, I just absolutely love every second of this image. I guess every second is not the right phrase to use here, but regardless, I just love to see this. But anyways, that's about it for everything that I could really break down for you guys inside this, even though I didn't really plan for this to be a breakdown, but it looks like it actually turned out to be one of those. But regardless, tell me what you guys think about this, and tell me if you guys want some other things that we haven't seen, like just what do you want out of this BlackOut mode besides what you've seen so far from obviously what we've got. You guys want to see more vertical gameplay? Do you guys want to see more underground things like we saw under Nuketown, which I'm just so happy there's underground areas. I mean, that's just so cool that we're going to have underground areas. I mean, I didn't stress how excited I was about that because I wanted to hurry to this, but that's just so cool to see underground areas, especially under Nuketown, because if you guys remember to Nuketown, at least in the zombies version of it, and yes, I do think this was in the Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 1 version of this, because obviously it was well, regardless, there was a bunker under there, so I imagine the bunker is going to bring you underground, and again, just something I absolutely love about it. I love the underground aspect. Now, if there's two things I could personally ask for this that we haven't seen yet, is that first, I hope that we see some dynamic things to the maps. I hope that it actually turns day, night, afternoon, and morning. I love to see that because that's kind of what Fortnite does, and I mean, I don't know why I brought up Fortnite, I guess because it's another Battle Royale game, but regardless, if you guys have actually seen some gameplay of Call of Duty Online, I think they do it just perfect. It's just so cool how they do the dynamic maps. There's rain, there's fog, and oh my gosh, it's just so cool to see that, and I hope it brings that to it. I hope we see day, night, morning, afternoon, some fog, some rain, and I just would love to see that in BlackOut. And the other thing that I've already talked about in the past is that I hope we get custom games or private games, whatever you want to call them. I just hope we see that because I just want to run around this map not worrying about playing the game, because I just want to run around the map and do whatever I want. What if I want to have a giant 1v1? I mean, who knows? I could do whatever I want, and if you give us that private games or custom games option, I'd just be so happy. But anyways, that's about it for me. I'm kind of rambling here at the end, but again, tell me what you guys think about all this stuff. But if you guys did enjoy the video, then go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys in my next stream or video.